David Kimaiyo is one of Kenya's police boss who would go into the books of history for his efforts in the fight against Al-Shabaab militia group. Kimaiyo, the first Inspector General of Police under the new constitution, before his resignation, has gone through ups and downs to become who he is and in beyond the norm. This segment, Jeff Kayamba brings you the other side of David Kimaiyo.
He was earmarked as Kenya's most vocal Inspector General of Police. David Kimaiyo is the epitome of authority, having been born in a humble background family.
At the age of 11 is when I went to school in Standard 1. At that early age, before even I went to primary school, I was taking care of our livestock because my grandfather and even the other stepfathers, they had coats. Personally, I never saw my father.
Kimaiyo, now 58 years old, is at first couldn't imagine that one day he will be a police officer.
So I worked very hard, barefooted. There was no shoes. Even I didn't have a shirt trouser. It was just a pair of a sheet.
As a family, Kimaiyo's guardians would not afford that luxurious life. But for him, he had a dream that one day he will redeem the lost glory of the society.
I can tell you for sure, I started working when I was 15 years. To be able to buy uniform, to be able to buy a short trouser and a shirt and even a book. So my past salary when I worked, when I was 35, I earned 25 shillings.
Due to finance problems, Kimaiyo dropped out of school and landed a job at the Kenya Police Service, which at that time, only a few co-curricular activities will give someone a job.
When I was 20 years old is when I joined the National Police Service as a recruit constable. And thereafter he was posted to various stations in the part of this country.
Being a police constable couldn't warrant Kimaiyo to sit comfortably. The fierce man remembered that education is the key to life.
I started continuing pursuing education as a private candidate. In fact, when I was in Form 2, I did privately what we call Kenya Junior Secondary Examination, KJSE. That was an examination that can enable you even to be employed as an trained teacher.
Kimaiyo served as the Commander Presidential Escort Unit PEU from the year 1999 to 2002 before taking up the position of the Commander General Service Unit GSU between 2000 and 2003. He subsequently worked for 1 year as a coordinator of the Kenya National Focal Point on Small Arms and Light Weapons before taking up the role of the Director of Operations of the Kenya Police until 2008.
A reason, there was a call that immediately the person who was been appointed as the Inspector General must be sworn in to take charge of the National Police Service. When we now try to settle, we realized that there were some problems of legislations. Remember, we have a new constitution.
Though he was the country's police boss, Kimaiyo lacked authority in running the docket, with a number of killings happening every now and then.
We realized that even the powers of the IG were not there. So you are being called an Inspector General, but you have no powers. And those officers derive their powers from the Inspector General's office. But now when he does that kind of a change, then an officer will go to court and say, you have no authority to transfer me. This is my station.
Kimaiyo retired 2 years before his due time. His departure came hours after Al-Shabaab militants attacked and killed 36 miners at a quarry in Mandera County.
The lowest moment that I had is when we lost some officers at Kabedo during my time when I was an IG. And that particular moment, I was from Mombasa. But unfortunately, the aircraft that we had sent to Kabeto, which actually the former Commandant JSU was with, left that place in the morning when the officers were going to collect a panned vehicle on the way. And instead of that chopper being there for the whole day, it came to this other side, as a result of which our officers were ambushed.
Another group of gunmen had killed one person and injured 13 others in an attack in Wajir town.
This morning, I've been able to make my decision, or my early decision, to be able to officially retire from the National Police Service.
Kimaiyo denied he had been pushed to leave office, insisting it was his personal decision.
And when you want to remove Inspector General as a head of state or input, he has to form a tribunal as per the constitution of this country. So there's no way you can say the president can sack Kimaiyo or can do everything. No.
He says he does not regret leaving the position where he served Kenyans diligently.
Especially the president. It was my responsibility to ensure that the president does not get annoyed when he goes to public. Because going to public when he's annoyed, he might end up going to make a certain decision, which is irrational decision, without thinking because of annoyance. So I served only for 2 years as IG, Inspector General. And I'm still a very proud person to walk majestically, yeah, in the presence of anybody in the street of Nairobi or any other places, without being worried of anything or even of my security, because I've served diligently.
After leaving the police service, David Kimaiyo is the same man, elegant enough to lead another decade.
And I've authored a book that is called In the Spirit of Service. At the moment, I'm a farmer at home. Of course, doing dairy farming and also doing horticulture, small horticulture in terms of greenhouses and open field horticulture.
Kimaiyo is a staunch Christian and holds a Bachelor of Theology and a Master's of Theology from both from the Beacon University of Institute Ministry.
I'm also serving at the Mlimani AIC Church as an elder, as well as also the chairman of the local church council of Mlimani AIC. So I graduated from my PhD University of Nairobi, and I do some consultancy in my office here in town. In Nairobi, my office is in Transnational House. So I handle my issues, my family issues, my own issues on my right hand. And then I handle the job on my left hand. So that when the job calls, I still have my right hand working on this other side.
And finally, this man Kimaiyo is a loving father.
As I told you earlier on, that we have been blessed with 4 sons and 2 daughters. So I also work closely with my family, my children, my wife, and make sure that we bring them well, because my last one now is in fourth form. I'm very firm in making decisions and I ensure that we do the right thing at the right time. And that's why even I hand myself a lot of awards, including the Presidential Award. The last award that I was awarded with was the MGH, that is the Moran of the Golden Heart, by His Excellency the current President Uhuru Kenyatta. But previously I had handed quite a number of awards, including what we call a Chief of the Burning Spear by President Mwai Kibaki, and the Elder of the Burning Spear and the Moran of the Burning Spear by President Moi.
He is daring, doesn't budge, and always has the last word. Reporting for Ebro TV, I'm Jeff Khaemba, and this is Beyond the Norm.
All right. Thank you very much.